Lagi ko pong iniisip, kung wala po si SMPC, wala po si Doc Sara. Ang gusto ng ospital is to serve the people of Semirara, all of them. Nag-iisa lang to sa Semirara Island. Ako po si Doc Sara Jane Magluna Bentayo, 31 years old. Ako po ay nakatira sa Barangay Semirara. Dito po ako pinanganak, lumaki at nag-aral dito sa Semirara National High School po. 2008 po ako graduate doon. Dati pong empleyado ang father ko dito way back 1990s. Then, nag-start lang sila ng negosyo ng mother ko. Doon kumukuha ng pampaaral sa aming magkakapatid. Kung wala pong inahan, wala pong bibili sa tindahan namin. Right after yung board exam, nag-decide ako na bumalik dito sa Semirara to serve the people of Semirara Island. Ngayon po, isa akong doktor dito sa SMPC Hospital. Naka-assign sa annual physical examination ng halos lahat po ng ating mga employees. Sino po ang empleyado? Sila po dapat ang pinaka-healthy. Kasi sila po yung foundation ng family. Sa kanila lahat nakaasa. Ang gusto ng management, healthy lahat ng empleyado natin. Meron tayong laboratory dito. Meron din tayong x-ray. Sa laboratory, kompleto naman po yan. Mula dugo, ihi at dumi, hindi na nila kailangan lumabas ng isla. Dito po kaya po natin gawin ng isang araw yan. Para siyang city, may playground, yung may oval, may aviary, kumpara siguro natin sa ibang mga island. Sobrang ang ganda po ng Semirara. Ako si Sara Jane Magluna Bentayo at ito ang kwentong Semirara ko.
madali ang pag-unlad kung ang barangay at ang company ay nagkakasundo sa magandang layunin. Ako si Ginoong Leonardo Dalwang po, 67 taong gulang, technical consultant po ng Department of Agriculture dito sa bayan ng Kaluya. 20 taon nang nakatira sa Semirara. Dumating kami nung year 2000, talagang baryo na baryo ang setting, wala mga establishments. Ang mga mangingisda, yung net lang sa tabi. Dahil ang number one na problema nila, kahit gusto nila mangisda, wala pa silang kapital para magpagawa ng mga bangka. Ngayon na dumating ang SMPC at sila ay nauna na ang nag-donate ng mga fiberglass na mas magaganda, mas matitibay para maging regular na yung kanilang pangingisda. Talagang napakalaking pasasalamat at tuwa ng mga nabigyan at saka sa mga makakatanggap ka dahil sa pagkaalam ko patuloy na gagawin ng SMPC ang pagtulong sa mga mangingisda. Napakalaki ng naidulot ng kaginhawahan sa mga tao. Unang-una, availability ng trabaho. Napakalaking porsyento ng mga taga rito ang nagkaroon ng trabaho sa mina. Sa ngayon, makikita natin na nandyan na yung mga housing, schools, naipatayo mga simbahan, mga gym at saka kung ano-ano pang mga educational facilities. Malaking salamat to sa iginagawad na tulong ng kumpanya sa bayang ito. Ako si Leonardo Dalwang po, 67 years old, at ito ang kwentong Semirara ko.
masasabi kong maswerte po kami ngayong mga taga Semirara dito kasi nandito yung SMPC, natutulungan po yung mga tao dito na magkaroon ng opportunity po katulad ko. Nakatira po sa Barangay Tinubok, Kaluya, Antique. 33 years na po akong nakatira dito sa Semirara Island. Ako po ay dating OFW sa Singapore at bumalik po ako dito sa isla para magtayo po ng negosyo. Nabigyan po ako ng pagkakataon ng SMPC management dito sa food court na makakuha po ng isang stall para mag-operate po ng pizza business. Kasi po dati ham and cheese at saka Hawaiian lang po talaga yung ino-offer namin sa customer. Ngayon po marami po kaming mga flavor ng pizza. Nung wala pa po talaga yung SMPC, yung tatay ko lang po talaga yung nagtatrabaho. Kulang po talaga sa amin na 8 magkakapatid. Tapos sunod-sunod pa po kaming nag-aaral. Ang laki pong tulong, nakakatulong po ako sa mga kapatid ko din at nasusuportahan ko po yung isa kong anak sa pag-aaral niya. Dati sa Semirara, talagang tahimik, parang malungkot. Wala po kayong, yung may gusto kang bibilhin na kakainin, na yung nakikita nyo po sa mga TV na hindi po makikita dito sa isla ng Semirara. Nung nandito na po yung food court, nandito na po yung milk tea, nandito ng pizza, halos lahat po ng sa mainland, nandito na rin po sa Semirara. Pero nung nandito na po yung SMPC, dinevelop po nila yung Semirara, nagkaroon na po ng palengke, nagkaroon na po ng malaking mga groceries dito. So hindi na po kailangan ng tao na pumunta sa mainland. Ako po si Daria Domingo, Pizza Business Owner dito sa Semirara at ito ang kwentong Semirara ko.
Oh, malaki po na itutulong ng SMPC sa akin dahil napag-aral ko po ang dalawang kapatid at nakapagtapos ng college. Ako po dito ay nakatira sa Semirara ay 11 years na po. Ako po ay isang welder, nagtatrabaho po ako sa mobile department, automatic welder sa B-Works area. At saka 8 years na po ako nagtatrabaho sa SMPC. Malaki po ang itutulong ng STCI dito dahil dito mo matutunan ang pagturo ng mga teacher at saka kung paano mag-umpisa ng paggamit ng rod at pag-on ng welding machine. At ang pagcutting po kung paano mag-operate ng oxyasi. Doon ko nakikita ang pagrespeto at ang kasarian po ng mga empleyado ay iba-iba. At saka po yung karanasan na nakikita ko ay ang kaya po ng lalaki ay kaya din ng babae kung ano ang kanilang gawin. Dahil po sa SMPC na tuloy-tuloy po ang pagtatrabaho ko at saka nakapagpatayo po kami ng sariling bahay namin sa Sibay at may pagbabago po sa pamumuhay namin at sana po ay tuloy-tuloy ang pag-asenso nun at saka malaki po siyang naitutulong sa akin at sa pamilya ko dahil dito po kami kumukuha ng papagkukunan namin sa aming pamumuhay araw-araw. Ako po si Imalasyon, automatic welder at ito ang kwentong Semirara ko.
Lagi ko pong iniisip, kung wala po si SMPC, wala po si Doc Sara. Ang gusto ng ospital is to serve the people of Semirara, all of them. Nag-iisa lang to sa Semirara Island. Ako po si Doc Sara Jane Magluna-Bentayo, 31 years old. Ako po ay nakatira sa Barangay Semirara. Dito po ako pinanganak, lumaki at nag-aral dito sa Semirara National High School po. 2008 po ako graduate doon. Dati pong empleyado ang father ko dito way back 1990s. Then, nag-start lang sila ng negosyo ng mother ko. Doon kumukuha ng pampaaral sa aming magkakapatid. Kung wala pong minahan, wala pong bibili sa tindahan namin. Right after yung board exam, nag-decide ako na bumalik dito sa Semirara to serve the people of Semirara Island. Ngayon po, isa akong doktor dito sa SMPC Hospital. Naka-assign sa annual physical examination ng halos lahat po ng ating mga employees. Sino po ang empleyado? Sila po dapat ang pinaka-healthy. Kasi sila po yung foundation ng family. Sa kanila lahat nakaasa. Ang gusto ng management, healthy lahat ng empleyado natin. Meron tayong laboratory dito. Meron din tayong x-ray. Sa laboratory, kompleto naman po yan. Mula dugo, ihi at dumi, hindi na nila kailangan lumabas ng isla. Dito po kaya po natin gawin ng isang araw yan. Para siyang city, may playground, yung may oval, may aviary, kumpara siguro natin sa ibang mga island. Sobrang ang ganda po ng Semirara. Ako si Sarah Jane Magluna-Bentayo at ito ang kwentong Semirara ko.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2023 Annual Stockholders Meeting of Semirara Mining and Power Corporation. The Chairman of the Board and Chief Executive Officer, Engineer Isidro A. Consunji, will now preside over the meeting.
The meeting will now come to order. Good morning. On behalf of the Board of Directors, we welcome our fellow stockholders to our 2023 annual meeting. Our board members are present in person and or joining us remotely. Mr. Secretary, has the stockholders of the corporation been duly notified of this meeting?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Our stockholders have been notified of today's meeting. A notice indicating the date, time, venue, and the agenda to the stockholders as of record date March 14, 2023 has been sent following SEC rules, our bylaws, and the guidelines of the requirements and procedure for electronic voting in absentia, and participation by remote communication for our 2023 annual stockholders meeting, embodied in the definitive information statement approved by the SEC as follows. On March 27, 2023, disclosure to the Philippine Stock Exchange and posted on the corporation's website. On April 3 and April 4, 2023, by publication in the business section of the Business World and the Manila Standard in print and online.
Mr. Secretary, do we have a quorum for today's meeting?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum for today's meeting. As of March 14, 2023, the record date, the corporation has 4,250,547,620 outstanding common shares. Shown on the screen is the number of shares of the corporation's outstanding common capital shares owned by the corporations who have registered through our online portal and submitted their proxies, and participating remotely or by proxies are present at today's meeting. Mr. Chairman, the stockholders present, following their mode of attendance and the percentage of their outstanding common shares held by them, will be reflected in the stockholders' minutes of meeting.
Our annual stockholders meeting is being held via webcast. As we continue to observe the health and safety of our stockholders, this webcast allows our stockholders to participate in this meeting as if it were an in-person meeting. Mr. Secretary, please apprise our stockholders of the requirements and procedures for participating and voting in absentia.
Mr. Chairman, the requirements and procedures are outlined in the definitive information statement and in the explanation of the agenda, which forms part of the notice of meeting. The following are the highlights as shown on the screen. Stockholders who successfully registered to attend and participate in this meeting may send their questions to Corporate Secretary at semirarampc.com. Questions will be addressed after other matters on the agenda, while others will be replied via email. Voting is allowed only for stockholders who could register their votes in absentia and through the chairman of the board as a proxy. The voting portal shall remain open until 5 p.m. of today's meeting. Each proposed resolution for adoption and approval by the stockholders shall be shown during the meeting. Except for the election of directors, all items on the agenda for approval require an affirmative vote of stockholders representing at least the majority of the outstanding voting stock at the meeting. Sisib Gores Velayo and Company, or SGV, and the Corporate Secretary are designated as the Board of Canvassers to tabulate and validate the received votes. The Corporate Secretary shall report the results during the course of the meeting. The casting of votes opened last April 24, 2023. I shall report on this partial tabulation of votes during the meeting, and the final results shall be reflected in the stockholders' minutes of meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before proceeding with the next agenda, our Chairman of the Board will deliver his message to our stockholders.
Good morning, fellow stockholders, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Board of Directors and Management, welcome to our virtual annual stockholders meeting. Reflecting on the previous year, it is clear that we've been through some challenging times. COVID-19 and the ongoing war in Ukraine have led to severe market fluctuations and supply disruptions across the world. Despite the operating challenges, amidst the unpredictable movement in commodity, fuel, and electricity prices, I am proud to report that our company set multiple milestones in 2022. The fact that we accomplished this during the 25th year under the MCI Group is a testament to the transformative power, hard work, and the collective resilience of our Semirara team. From 800,000 metric tons in 1997, our coal production grew 19 times to 16 million metric tons in 2022, the maximum allowable capacity under our environmental compliance certificate. This was unthinkable in 2021, when our water seepage level in Molavi mine was more than double the normal level. The innovative approach and active monitoring of our mine personnel got us through that difficult time, and I am grateful for their unwavering dedication. The trade sanctions on Russia underscored our overdependence on China. Rather than compete with cheap Russian coal, we pivoted to domestic and other Asian markets. As a result, we set a record for domestic sales and developed new foreign markets for Semirara coal. This is a far cry from 25 years ago when Calaca Power Plant was the sole customer of Semirara coal. Our power segment likewise made a strategic pivot from contract to spot sales. Our gambit paid off, and despite lower generation, we recorded double-digit profit contribution from our power subsidiaries, with stellar results from our coal and power businesses. Our consolidated revenues and net income both hit all-time high levels in 2022. Even coming off a high base, our top line soared to 91.1 billion pesos, while our bottom line more than doubled to 39.9 billion pesos. Also worth highlighting, our operating cash flow almost doubled to a historic high of 40.8 billion pesos. Due to the combined effect of elevated selling prices, record domestic sales, and favorable foreign exchange rates. Because of our all-time high coal revenues, government shares surged by 151% to nearly 16 billion pesos, the highest ever contributed by our company to the national government and our host communities. In all, we have paid over 15 billion pesos in government royalties, firmly positioning our company as one of the most important power assets in the Philippines. Our domestic coal sales can also be directly linked to powering at least 4,000 megawatts, or 20% of the country's energy mix. I am proud of our organizational transformation and even prouder of our meaningful contribution to national energy security and poverty alleviation. In keeping with our commitment to creating shareholder value, we distributed over 21 billion pesos in total dividends in 2022. At 5 pesos per share, this is the highest annual dividends payout ever. Even with our record high dividend, we maintained a healthy cash balance of 20 billion pesos. Our company is also in a net cash position, which effectively protects us from the challenges of a high interest rate environment. Our unappropriated retained earnings of over 47 billion pesos also gives us the financial strength and strategic flexibility to reinvest in businesses or acquire other assets. At this point, let me highlight other important events that demonstrate our commitment to value creation and environmental, social, and governance principles. After an absence of 1 year, we regained our place in the Philippine Stock Exchange Index in August 2022. For a third straight year, SMPC landed in the Bloomberg Gender Equality Index. Because of our transparent gender data reporting and inclusive work environment. We also scored over 100 points in the ASEAN Corporate Governance Scorecard because of strong commitment to responsible corporate governance practices, for being one of the best governed public companies in the Philippines. SMPC also achieved the 3 Golden Arrow recognition from the Institute of Corporate Directors. When DMCI Holdings acquired Semirara Coal Corporation in 1997, very few people believed in our ability to turn it around. Even my father thought it was a daunting venture. At that time, Semirara was deeply in debt, bleeding money, and struggling to find a market for its coal. In the face of these challenges, we made the seemingly impossible possible. The journey was tough, but our people were even tougher. In 25 years, we dramatically expanded coal production, improved product quality, and boosted our shipments. In the end, we successfully transformed Semirara into the nation's most modern coal mine, responsible for over 99% of domestic coal production and exports. It is both humbling and inspiring to reflect on how far we have come. From a company once dismissed as a failure to one that now leads the industry. As we embark on the next chapter, our primary challenge lies in sustaining our company's growth and success. We are exploring alternative revenue streams, such as expanding our power generation capacity and pursuing new mining opportunities beyond Semirara Island. To manage market risk, we are enhancing our power generation capabilities while maintaining low fuel costs. Our adaptability in the face of these ongoing challenges will prove crucial to the next phase of our company's journey. As I conclude my report, I would like to thank those who were instrumental in making 2022 successful. Our board of directors for their commitment and invaluable guidance, our employees for their hard work, service, and dedication, our shareholders, regulators, business partners, host communities, and other stakeholders for your trust and support. In 25 years, we accomplished something extraordinary and transformative. With your full support, we can stay on this path and create more value for our stakeholders. Maraming salamat. The next order of business is the approval of the previous minutes of the meeting held on May 2nd, 2022. Electronic copies of the said minutes have been posted and are available on the corporation's website. Mr. Secretary, please present the proposed resolution on this item and the voting results.
Mr. Chairman, management is proposing approval of the following resolution shown on the screen. Resolved that the stockholders of Semirara Mining and Power Corporation be, as it is hereby, approve, confirm, and ratify the minutes of the annual stockholders meeting held last May 2, 2022. As shown on the screen, I am pleased to report that the stockholders favorably adopted the proposed resolution, approving the annual stockholders minutes of the previous meeting held on May 2, 2022. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, the resolution is approved.
Let us move to the next order of business, the presentation and approval of the President's report. Our President and Chief Operating Officer, Maria Cristina C. Gotianon, will present her report.
Ladies and gentlemen, valued shareholders, colleagues on the board, and members of management. Good morning and welcome to our virtual annual stockholders meeting. In our previous meeting, I mentioned that surpassing our 2021 performance would be a formidable challenge. At that time, the water seepage level at Monalve Mine exceeded the normal parameter. We were also bracing for the rainy season, which threatened to worsen the situation. To meet our 2022 coal production target, we had to closely monitor and proactively manage the water buildup in Monalve. We also established a multi-layered protection system to manage the risk of mine inundation. Our power segment faced its own set of setbacks. A defective equipment from GE sidelined SAPC Unit 2 for the most part of the year. The three other plants, on the other hand, faced severe cost pressures because of skyrocketing coal prices and unplanned outages. Together, these events forged a pivotal and defining moment for our company. Despite facing numerous challenges, we managed to overcome the formidable odds. and delivered a historic performance on our 25th anniversary under the DMCI Group. Our achievement underscores the significance of resilience, adaptability, and innovation in navigating obstacles and realizing success. Our coal and power businesses did exceptionally well in 2022, with the former accounting for over 80% of our consolidated bottom line. At 39.9 billion pesos, this translates to an earnings per share of 9 pesos and 38 centavos and a return on equity of 73%, the highest among power and mining peers for the reporting year. We attribute our stellar performance to the combined effect of all-time high coal production and strategic market pivots, which allowed us to benefit from elevated market prices and favorable foreign exchange rates. To elaborate, we produced 16 million metric tons, 12% higher than previous year and 7% better than our 2022 target. This is our first time to ever hit our maximum production capacity as defined in our environmental compliance certificate. We reduced our dependence on China and redirected our marketing efforts to local coal buyers. As a result, our coal sales only slipped by 3% despite a 55% plunge in China shipments. We operated as merchant power plants, giving us greater flexibility in terms of dispatch and pricing. Higher uncontracted capacity allowed us to sell more to the spot market at elevated prices. It also reduced our replacement power purchases since our dependable capacity was more than enough to cover our contractual obligations. Our average selling prices for coal and electricity posted double-digit growth due to significant supply-demand imbalances in the energy market. The imbalance was due to the reopening of the economy following the pandemic, combined with geopolitical tensions between Russia and Ukraine. In 2022, the US dollar appreciated double digits versus the Philippine peso and Japanese yen, which led to foreign exchange gains from our coal exports and Japan imports. Our net forex gain stood at 1 billion pesos, nearly triple from last year. In addition to our strong financial performance, we also made significant strides in our environmental, social, and governance initiatives. We completed the accelerated backfilling of Panyan Mine, once the largest open pit in the country. So far, we have invested over 12 billion pesos and 11.5 million man-hours for its final rehabilitation. This is the fastest, biggest, and most ambitious mine restoration program in the country, and this would not have been possible without the visionary leadership and all-out support of the Department of Energy. We are working closely with the Department of Energy and other stakeholders to address the February 28 oil spill in Oriental Mindoro. The spillage first reached the shoreline of Semirara Island last March 3. Since then, our emergency response team has dedicated over 8,500 man-hours to recover more than 51,000 kilograms of oil-contaminated debris from the sunken ship. To date, we have also distributed over 600 relief packs to the affected households in Semirara Island and Liwagaw Island of the Kaluya municipality. We are committed to providing our stakeholders with the assistance and resources they need to manage the situation. As we move forward into 2023, we expect global coal prices to consolidate on economic softening, high fuel inventories, and warm winter in Europe. Western prices should remain elevated but will likely trend lower year on year due to secondary price caps and easing fuel prices. Potential upside drivers include strengthening post-pandemic demand, our high uncontracted capacity, and improved performance of SEPC Unit 2. As we embrace the challenges and opportunities ahead, I am confident in our organization's ability to maintain our commitment to excellence and drive value to our shareholders, partners, and other stakeholders. Before I end my report, I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to those who made our company the successful and thriving organization that it is today. Our past and present employees, whose dedication and hard work have been instrumental in our success. Our board of directors for their unwavering commitment and guidance. Our shareholders, regulators, business partners, host communities, and other stakeholders for the trust and confidence they have placed in us. And to our chairman and CEO for seeing Semirara not for what it was, but for what it could be. His vision and leadership allowed our company to rise above its limits and transform for the nation. In closing, I am reminded of a quote by George Washington, who once said, "The harder the conflict, the greater the triumph." Semirara's past year embodies this sentiment. We faced numerous challenges, but our resilience, adaptability, and innovation carried us to success. Ladies and gentlemen, with your continued support, we can stay on this path and forge an even greater future for our company, our stakeholders, and the communities we serve. Thank you, and let us all look forward to another successful year ahead.
Mr. Secretary, please present the proposed resolution to approve the President's report and the voting results.
Mr. Chairman, management is proposing the following resolution shown on the screen. Resolved that the stockholders of Semirara Mining and Power Corporation be, as it is hereby approves, confirm, and ratify the President's report, as presented by the President and the Chief Operating Officer of the corporation. As shown on the screen, I am pleased to report that the stockholders favorably adopted the proposed resolution approving the President's report. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, the resolution is approved.
The next order of business is the presentation and approval of the audited financial statements for the year ending December 31, 2022. Mr. Secretary, please present the proposed resolution on this item and the voting results.
Mr. Chairman, electronic copies of the audited financial statement for 2022 of the corporation have been posted as part of the definitive information statement and are available on the corporation's website. Mr. Chairman, management is proposing the following resolution for approval shown on the screen. Resolved that the stockholders of Semirara Mining and Power Corporation be, as it is hereby approves, confirm, and ratify the corporation's audited financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2022. As shown on the screen, I am pleased to report that the stockholders favorably adopted the proposed resolution approving the corporation's audited financial statement for the year ended December 31st, 2022. Therefore, the resolution is approved.
The next item is the ratification of the acts of the Board of Directors and Management from the date of the last annual stockholders meeting and up to the date of this meeting. Corporate Secretary will explain the matter, present the proposed resolution on this item, and the voting result.
Mr. Chairman, our board and management seek approval and ratification of all the acts and resolutions of the Board of Directors and various board committees, exercising powers delegated by the board adopted from May 2, 2022 until today. These acts and resolutions are reflected in the minutes of meeting of the Board of Directors and of the board committees, including the elections of officers and committee memberships, corporate governance policy, and all matters covered by disclosures to the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Philippine Stock Exchange. Stockholders' ratification is also being sought for all acts of management and officers performed in accordance with the resolutions of the board, various board committees, the bylaws, and as part of the corporation's general conduct of business from May 2, 2022 until today. Mr. Chairman, management is proposing the following resolution shown on the screen. Resolved that the stockholders of Semirara Mining and Power Corporation be and as he hereby approves, confirm, and ratify all the acts, decisions, and resolutions of the Board of Directors, various board committees, and all acts of management since May 2, 2022, and until the date of this meeting. As shown on the screen, I am pleased to report that the stockholders favorably adopted the proposed resolution approving, ratifying, and confirming all acts and resolutions of the Board of Directors, various board committees, and all actions of management since May 2, 2002, and until the date of this meeting. Therefore, the resolution is approved.
The next order of business is the election of the Board of Directors for the year 2023-2024.
Mr. Chairman, following the bylaws of the corporation, its manual of corporate governance, and the SEC rules, the names of the following nominees were submitted to the Corporate Governance Committee, and each one has accepted and given their consent to their respective nomination. The nominees are nominated as regular directors: Isidro A. Consunji, Cesar A. Benaventura, George A. Consunji, Herbert M. Consunji, Maria Cristina C. Gochanon, Maria Edwina C. Laperal, Josefa Consuelo C. Reyes, Antonio Jose U. Perequet Jr., and nominated as independent directors: Roberto L. Panlilio, Francisco A. Dizon, Ferdinand M. de la Cruz. On March 23, 2023, the Corporate Governance Committee, in the exercise of its duties, determined that the 11 nominees are qualified to serve as directors of the corporation.
Mr. Secretary, may we have the results of the elections of directors?
As shown on the screen, the following directors received the required number of votes to be elected as directors of the corporation, accordingly with the following voting results. Moreover, the following resolutions are hereby adopted and approved as shown on the screen. Resolved that the stockholders of Semirara Mining and Power Corporation be as it is hereby elects the following as directors of the corporation for the ensuing year to serve as such, beginning today until their successor are duly elected and qualified. As regular directors, Isidro A. Consunji, George A. Consunji, Cesar A. Benaventura, Herbert M. Consunji, Maria Cristina C. Gochanon, Maria Edwina C. Leperal, Josefa Consuelo C. Reyes, Antonio Jose U. Perequet Jr., as independent directors, Roberto L. Pandillo, Francisco A. Dizon, and Ferdinand M. de la Cruz.
The next order of business is the approval of the appointment of the independent external auditor.
Mr. Chairman, following the corporation's governance policy, the Audit Committee recommends that the accounting firm of Sisiv Gores, Velayo and Company, or SGV, be the corporation's independent external auditor. Accordingly, the Audit Committee proposes and the Board of Directors agree to endorse the appointment of SGV as the corporation's independent external auditor for the current fiscal year 2023. In this regard, Mr. Chairman, management proposes the following resolution shown on the screen. Resolved that the stockholders of Semirara Mining and Power Corporation be as it is hereby approves, confirm, and ratify the appointment of Sisiv Gores Velayo and Company as the independent external auditors of the corporation for the current fiscal year 2023. As shown on the screen, I am pleased to report that the stockholders favorably adopted the proposed resolution approving the appointment of Sisiv Gores Velayo and Company as independent external auditor of the corporation for the current fiscal year 2023. Therefore, the resolution is approved.
Mr. Secretary, are there other matters that require consideration by the stockholders?
There are none, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Secretary, are there any questions or clarification from the stockholders?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have questions as shown on the screen. For the first question, Mr. Chairman, it goes, how do you see SEC 10 years from today?
First of all, we hope that the Department of Energy will favorably consider our legal position on the adjustment of the terms of our contract on the coal operating contract. Secondly, we believe that there are opportunities in mining outside of Semirara Island, and we could probably participate in these mining opportunities. Thirdly, we expect to expand our power projects and maybe even shift to LNG if and when the situation arises that makes this shift a good business opportunity. And lastly, we expect that we'll be able to look at other businesses, assuming our financial state enables us to diversify to other businesses.
For the next question, are you still keen on folding DMCI mining into Semirara? Or would you prefer organic growth for SEC?
We have studied the proposed transfer of DMCI mining from DMCI Holdings to Semirara Corporation. However, our finance people concluded that the friction cost involved in such transfer will make it very expensive. And secondly, the ability to determine a fair price for both sets of stockholders, DMCI and Semirara, extremely difficult considering the fact that the bulk of the mining assets of DMCI mining are not fully permitted. So we will probably not happen anymore.
For the next question, given rising ESG pressures, do you have a coal exit plan for SEC?
Given that coal is the primary product of SMPC, it is difficult for us to exit coal. However, our approach is a carbon mitigating plan, which is to offset the carbon emission of our coal and power plants with carbon credits and other mining activities or reforestation that will mitigate a lot of this carbon that's being emitted by our existing business.
For the next question, how much coal do you expect to produce from Molave and Nara mines this year?
Based on our mine plan, we are going to produce 15 to 16 million metric tons for this year. 50% of that will come from Molave pit and 50% will come from the Nara mine.
For the next question, on the power segment, how much of CapEx is being allocated to improve asset management to lessen outages moving forward?
Based on the asset management plan of Calaca, we have allocated 1.5 billion pesos CapEx for this year. So far, in first quarter of this year, the power plants have been running quite well, and we hope that this will continue until the end of the year.
For the next question, what is your coal and power marketing strategy for 2023?
For 2023, we expect to sell more and more coal locally. Previously, 50% of our coal was exported. This year, we intend to sell 70% to the local market and just 30% for the export. And for the power business, the present prices of volatile prices prevent us from taking a firm stand on fixed rate contracts. So for the moment, we intend to stay either with a bilateral contract with fuel pass-through or stay in the Western market, in the spot market for the time being. And maybe if the fuel prices settle down, we can probably go back to more bilateral contracts.
For the next question, would SEC be open to investing in LNG plants?
Well, the Calaca location is ideal for LNG as well as coal. So the question is really just an issue of business viability. But physically and technically, there's no reason why SMPC cannot go to LNG.
For the next question, any updates on the plan to rewind and reinstall the old turbine in SEPC Unit 2?
Originally, our plant outage will be in fourth quarter of this year. However, because of the phase connector ring, it is now going to be moved in the first quarter of 2024. We will resume operation of Unit 2 in the second quarter of 2024.
For the next question, have you reached an agreement with GE regarding their defective equipment?
GE so far has been cooperating with us, and the Unit 2 is performing right now, even at the rated capacity. The root cause analysis will come out in May, and hopefully with that, they can continue to support us and even improve in the performance of the Unit 2 generator.
For the next question, would SEC be open to buying other plants?
Yes, we are open to purchasing other plants, but the prices that being offered in the market makes it better for us to pursue developing new plants like San Rafael rather than purchase existing plants. Mr. Secretary, are there any further questions?
There are no other questions, Mr. Chairman.
There being none, we will now adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much to our stockholders for attending. Stay safe, everyone.
To view this recorded webcast and read our 2022 Annual and Sustainability Report, go to the links on your screen. For questions, clarifications, and concerns regarding our ASM, please email us at corporatesecretary@semirara.npc.com. Thank you and good morning.